Hello and welcome to News Centre. I'm Parikshit Luthra. India continues to turn the screws on Pakistan weeks after tensions between two nations flared up on the back of the Pahalgham Terror Attack. India has already downgraded its diplomatic ties and cancelled all kinds of visas. The Atari border, the only land trade crossing between the two nations, has already been shut down. Over the weekend, India announced a full trade ban on goods originating from or routed through Pakistan. Pakistani ships have been banned from entering Indian ports. India is also evaluating its defence options. Prime Minister Modi reportedly met the Air Force and Navy chiefs over the weekend. That's not all. India is also gearing up for water wars with Pakistan. The decades-old Indus Water Treaty has been suspended. Government sources have said that authorities have emptied the Baglihar Dam reservoir on Chenab River and closed down the gates. They claim that water from the Chenab River will not flow into Pakistan's Punjab province via the dam till India refills the reservoir. Global ratings agency Moody's has warned that escalating tensions between the nations could put a strain on Pakistan's economy. In a note, Moody said that sustained escalations in tensions with India would weigh on Pakistan's growth and hamper the government's ongoing fiscal consolidation efforts. We have with us former Indus Commissioner for Indus Waters Treaty, P.K. Saxena. Mr. Saxena, how do you see this move to restrict the flow of water via the Chenab River through the Baglihar Dam? Could you explain our viewers what exactly is the government doing right now when we say that we are stopping the flow of water through the Chenab to Pakistan?
Yes, the government has actually undertaken the flushing of the reservoir of Baglihar Dam and Salal Dam. So in this particular process, we empty the dam and then start filling it again. So till that time it is filled, there will be no water downstream of the dam. This is what we are undertaking. This was prohibited in the treaty. Under the treaty, we can only refill during the month of August or so. But once the treaty has gone, we can start filling even now. So for till that time, for next maybe around 10 to 15 days or maybe even more depending on the flow, there will be no water downstream of our dam. And as a result of which the sowing in Pakistan, which is undergoing, will be badly affected.
Right. So currently we can say that the flushing process began over the weekend and
Yes.
The reservoir right now, basically we are putting down gates over there so that the water cannot flow through the Chenab River. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Exactly.
Okay. What are some of the next steps that the Indian government could take in order to restrict waters under the Indus Waters Treaty system?
Government is already mulling a lot of steps that includes, fast-tracking our projects. We have number of projects on Chenab. At least 3,000 megawatt of projects are under construction or under planning. So government is going to fast-track that. This is point number one. And secondly, as I have mentioned just now, government has decided to flush the reservoirs. So next online maybe Kishanganga on Jhelum, we may be going to flush that also. So that will also affect the flush, these discharges downstream of Kishanganga badly. These are the immediate steps that we are undertaking. And you are already aware that data supply to Pakistan has already been stopped.
How do you think all these measures put together, some of these punitive measures, will hurt Pakistan's agricultural economy in the short run? And how long can this process continue? Till how long can we actually stop the flow of water to Pakistan? Or do you think it's only a temporary period till the reservoir is filled up?
Yes, this is a temporary period, but timing is more important. If you see, the flow may be stopped for 10-15 days, but these 10-15 days are very crucial for agriculture economy like Pakistan, because if they get the deficient water during this time, their agriculture production is going to affect badly. Maybe if we do that, say 1 month or 2 months from now, it may not be affecting them much. But present, the timing is very important. Government has chosen the time when it hurts the most.
All right, we've chosen a time that hurts us the most. Thank you very much, Mr. Saxena, for joining us with that important perspective. Let me also take this conversation forward because it's not just the Indus water system. There are a series of actions that are being taken. We're joined by former Commerce Secretary Anup Wadhawan, former diplomat Ashok Sajjanhar, Manjeet Kripalani of Gateway House. Thank you very much for joining us. Manjeet Kripalani, you heard the former Indus Waters Commissioner saying that we're taking a series of steps to hurt Pakistan with water at a time when it needs it the most. We're restricting the supply of water to Pakistan. Now, Gateway House has been talking about a sanctions policy, an India sanctions policy vis-a-vis Pakistan. Now that we've stopped trade, we've stopped postal services, shipping services, what more do you think can be done on the economic front?
First, the most important business element in Pakistan is the military, and it's called Milbus, the Milbus business. They occupy more than 50% of the Pakistani economy. So we have to target those entities directly, and it's everything, including cornflakes, that is called Fauji cornflakes, that is made by the Pakistani military. Secondly, we have to stop everything that comes through Pakistan into the international supply chains. So India being a very large market, even international companies, should they have any element of Pakistani, say, cotton or Pakistani soya in their supply chain of goods, those should not be allowed to be sold in India. We must use the power of our market to use that to sanction Pakistan, because that will really create a problem. The army will be answerable to its people. And I don't think, it doesn't seem to me that they really thought that India would be capable of blocking the water and therefore holding up their harvest, their sowing season.
Right. Let me also get in Mr. Wadhawan. Mr. Wadhawan, our trade with Pakistan is small. We're not dependent on Pakistan in any sort of a way. How does this measure, would you call it symbolic, or do you feel that it will hurt the Pakistani economy to stop shipping lines, to stop postal services, to stop trade altogether?
And we are not really dependent on Pakistani goods and services to the extent, Pakistan has been dependent on imports from India. So certainly all these steps will impact the Pakistani economy and perhaps, convey a lesson that, greater responsibility has to be shown by the army and all other players in ensuring peace at the border and ensuring India's security. Of course, there are, maybe conjectural or somewhat anecdotal stories of huge amount of smuggling that happens into Pakistan of Indian goods and then, export from third countries. There's a Dubai channel. So, to the extent we can look into those channels and in a targeted manner block certain critical items that may be getting exported, that could be an additional step. But certainly, it's unfortunate that we have to resort to all this. But then an element of responsibility has to be shown by Pakistan that India's peace and security are extremely important. And without that, nothing else can work. No other aspect of the relationship, economic or cultural or whether it is sports, can be in place.
Right. Let me get in Ambassador Sajjanhar. Ambassador Sajjanhar, today there was a note from Moody's which said that escalating Pakistan-India tensions would weigh on Pakistan's growth. They went on to say that Pakistan is in the process of fiscal consolidation and any kind of tensions or prolonged tensions, even if this eyeball-to-eyeball conflict continues, this would set back Pakistan's progress in achieving macroeconomic stability, and the macroeconomic conditions have been improving, and this would receive a setback. Do you feel that the economic measures that India is taking, also by restricting supply of water under the Indus Waters Treaty, do you feel that this would serve India's purpose in the long run than any immediate military operation?
Thank you very much, Parikshit. I don't think that there is an either-or situation as far as this is concerned, that you take economic action and that is in lieu of any military action that you might be contemplating, or you take some diplomatic actions and they might be painful. that they are. I think the country wants retribution, the country wants retaliation, and the ghastly manner in which, this terrorist attack was affected, by singling out Hindu men from the crowd and butchering them mercilessly. I think the message has to go out very strong, in my view, in a disproportionate manner, so that Pakistan, for a long, long time doesn't ever contemplate. So, if it is just off on sort of, a situation where we act against them and then let it go so that it is allowed to recover, I don't think that is going to have much of an impact. We did do the, after the Uri, we did some surgical strikes. We hit out at Balakot in 2019 after Pulwama. I think this time it needs to be much more. Otherwise, this problem of terrorist actions from Pakistan will continue to haunt us. It happened in 26/11. After that, so many others, Pathankot, Uri, etc. So for how long can we, continue to deal with it by taking it on our chest, so to say, that, okay, we'll take some action, proportionate action? I think we'll really have to do something very significant. I think the Indus Waters Treaty, putting it in abeyance, is a very significant step, because you see, after 1960, although it is now, how many, 65 years, so many wars have taken place, so many terrorist actions have taken place, but we never really came down to putting it in abeyance or suspending it. We've done it today. I think that should give out a message, very clear message to Pakistan, particularly the Pakistan Army Chief, that this is, this action of theirs on the 22nd of April will not go unresponded. Parikshit.
Right. Manjeet, coming back to you, do you now see an actual shift in India's stand when it comes to taking action or retaliating against Pakistan? This time, the strategy seems to be more holistic. It's economic, it's diplomatic, it's military. And do you also feel that, as Ambassador Sajjanhar is saying, we can only hope that this time the policy is more long-term and there is complete focus in implementing that policy, and that is India's foreign policy, that becomes India's foreign policy approach towards Pakistan, that's how we're going to treat them?
Well, one thing we've done this time is that, yes, India's very good at adopting asymmetric warfare. We did that with China during Galwan, and now we're doing it with Pakistan. This is asymmetric warfare. We've also stopped online, movies and shows coming in from Pakistan, the newspaper reports, etc. This is quite interesting. I think this is the first time we've brought in the technology and the online. So you're right, it is a whole of government approach. The one thing we have not done, Parikshit, is we are not able to win the public relations war. The Pakistanis are absolutely masterful at this. They know how to, they've been hard at work already in Washington and all the capitals, doing a war is us, what do we do to deserve it? This is not us, typical India. We really have to win the PR war, in addition to the asymmetric warfare and maybe some military action. I don't know whether we'll do it, but the asymmetric warfare should take care of it. We have to win the PR war, and unfortunately, that is not happening.
All right. We're going to take a short break at this point, but I'll request Mr. Wadhawan, Manjeet Kripalani, Ambassador Sajjanhar to stay with us. We'll be right back. This discussion is getting very, very important, very interesting. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to News Center. We still have with us former Commerce Secretary Anup Wadhawan, Manjeet Kripalani of Gateway House, and former diplomat Ambassador Ashok Sajjanhar. Mr. Wadhawan, let me ask you about how do you see Pakistan being hurt economically in terms of their growth, in terms of their plans over the next few years? Do you think the manner in which India is trying to isolate them economically and diplomatically is going to hurt them over the next 1 year or 2 years?
Yeah, you see, the Pakistani economy is already in shambles and has been in that shape for a long time now. Their balance of payments is under huge stress. They've borrowed money to, stay solvent. in terms of their global obligations. So this will certainly, add to that. Although, as Ambassador Sajjanhar said, I don't know whether this will be the tipping point which will, make them see sense. I don't think that is going to happen. But the economic actions, we've taken will be a significant part of conveying the right message. But then you have to adopt a comprehensive approach, and I think we've adopted that this time. We brought in the river water aspect to it. We've brought in all the data flow aspects to it. And as Manjeet said, you need to win the PR war and go beyond that. Win the diplomatic war in terms of conveying all these facts to the global sort of to the world, and win their support. Ultimately, all these actions should invite UN sanctions. They should invite you know action from the world community coming together. So I think we need to go
Mr.
beyond the
Wadhawan,
economic steps. Yeah.
the way US goes and imposes sanctions on nations such as Iran or Russia for that matter, can India work out a sanction strategy either alone unilaterally or in collaboration with some other nations? Is that going to work for India?
I can understand the difficulties in getting UN sanctions in place, but you can have a coalition of significant countries which can come together, and because India has always opposed sanctions outside the UN platform, but then you have to deal with situations that emerge, and you can have a coalition of countries which can come together and put appropriate pressure collectively, whether it is sanctions, whether it is threat of sanctions, or whether it is some selective economic actions taken by a group of countries which are like-minded, which are concerned about this. So all those options have to be explored. And I think it is something that can work. So I can see, a lot of support for India in terms of,
Right.
people being very upset by these things.
Okay, let me get in Ambassador Sajjanhar. Ambassador Sajjanhar, what more do we need to do diplomatically? There are two guests on our panel today who are saying that we now need to win the PR war. What do we need to do in order to isolate Pakistan in the long term?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question, but let me sort of, respond to it in two ways. Number one is, the PR war is important. We need to reach out. We have good friends, in all the important places, US, France, Europe, etc., etc. I think we have a good understanding with them, so we can definitely get them on our side. But that having been said, a PR war, whether we are winning or not winning, that should not determine the course of action that we have to adopt. If we have to do something, we have to do something irrespective of the international support or not. And once we do it, the international support will be forthcoming. We shouldn't wait that, we are getting this international support, that's why we are going ahead. We are going ahead because we are the aggrieved party, we are the victimized party, so we have to sort of, get retribution as far as Pakistan is concerned, not because, the world is behind us, the world is egging us on, etc. The second thing is, as far as economic sanctions are concerned, I think there are other avenues also available. For instance, the FATF. We can go to the FATF. We have heard Khwaja Asif saying that, we've been supporting terrorism for the last 3 decades. Bilawal Bhutto has also come and said the same thing. Of course, everyone knows that Osama bin Laden was found there in Pakistan. So I think there is clear evidence, and here the manner in which, connecting what the Pakistan Army chief said and how the attack took place here within a week. He, I think, made the statement on 16th of April, and 22nd April, this attack took place. So, there is definitely a connection. Also, I think as far as IMF disbursal of its loans is concerned. So I think there are other ways, Parikshit, that I would like to suggest, which we can take. We will not operate outside the UN system as such, as far as sanctions are concerned. But there are other ways, I think, through the normal channels like FATF, IMF, etc., that we can go forward. Parikshit.
All right. We're also joined by Abh Kumar Singh, former chairman and MD of NHPC. Mr. Singh, thank you very much for joining us. A lot of steps being undertaken as far as restricting the flow of the Indus water river systems towards Pakistan. Almost on a daily basis, there are high-level meetings taking place. Two significant actions. We're talking about the Baglihar Dam and the action on Kishan Ganga, which may also happen. Give us a sense of the significance of what's happening at Baglihar Dam in terms of flushing the reservoir.
Good evening, everyone. Actually, for the Baglihar, the flushing is not only Baglihar, rather for all the projects like Salal also. And for many years, we have been unable to flush the water still during the monsoon period because it was not allowed during the treaty. And it has resulted a huge deposit of silt in the Salal river. That is also just reducing the life of the reservoir also. So now it is really free hand given to us for the Salal project or even the Baglihar to flush their water during the monsoon at the peak time when the discharge is more and the silt content is more. This will facilitate in increasing the life of the reservoir and the storage capacity as well. As far as the Kishan Ganga is concerned, it is an intervention project. We are putting water of Kishan Ganga through almost a 23-kilometer long headage tunnel in down near Badipura, and it goes to the Wooler Lake, then Dal Lake, then finally to the Jhelum. So that water is already put in some other river like Jhelum, and we allow, as per the treaty, minimum 9 cubic of water to Pakistan. That water can be totally closed, and that can be used for power generation and diverting of water from Kishan Ganga to Jhelum. And if you do like this,
Right.
there will be no much water in Neelam because say around 5 to 6 kilometers downstream of Kishan Ganga, it enters into Pakistan, and that river calls Neelam in that area. So a lot of things are there, and I can say only one thing: the land is ours, water is ours, the dam is ours. But the way they were behaving due to the treaty, they behave like a boss. So that thing is the first time that every engineer has got the free hand to do the flushing and regulate the water as per their will.
Right. That's an important point, sir. You were saying that the land and the water was ours, but Pakistan was behaving like a boss. My final question to you would be, in the long run, what are some of the infrastructural changes that we will have to make if we want to make a strategy to probably maximize the use of the Indus water rivers to India's advantage and also restrict supply to Pakistan?
Yes, because you see a number of projects are coming in the Chenab River like Salkot, then Kirthai 2, Kirthai 1, and so the project we can redesign and put at the as a storage project. And at the same time, we need to develop some water conductor system for taking the water to the Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, or some other parts of the country. And that infrastructure, we have to make a DPR and start the work immediately so that we can take the water of this Chenab River. As far as this Ravi is concerned, you know, the Chenab comes from reaches of Himachal, and the two rivers like Chandra and Bhaga, it meets and then it's called Chenab, are entered into the JNK area. So we can take some water from one of the upper reaches project directly to the Ravi by making a tunnel of 3 to 4 kilometers. That water can be put in the Ravi river, which will further increase in hydro generation in Chamera 1, Chamera 2, Chamera 3, and this water can be taken to the Ravi through the other parts of our country. So a lot of development can take place since the treaty was there. So we have not been allowed to make any DPR for the storage project. So now that it is open for us, and the country can go for a bigger dam, bigger reservoir, and take the water to other part of the country.
All right. Those are important points. Mr. Singh, thank you very much for joining us. I'd like to thank Ambassador Sajjanhar, Manjeet Kripalani, Anup Wadhawan for joining us on the program. So clearly, India exercising all options and now working with a long-term strategy against Pakistan. That's all we have time for here on the show. Goodbye and thanks for watching.